שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שיר לאדוני, שיר לאדוני, שיר לאדוני. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא.
They could just follow you up when you go around the auditorium. Yeah.
Shabbat Shalom. Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek. Be strong, and we will strengthen one another. At the end of each book of Torah, we say these words to remind us that as we walk from portion to portion, from week to week, from Shabbat to Shabbat, we see ourselves reflected in the story of our people and in the stories of one another. So too do we say these words together tonight as we finish the book of Exodus with the Torah portion of Pekudei. However, we recognize our chizuk, our strength as one humanity, even in the face of incomprehensible things. A meme that is circulating the internet right now, and especially my social media feeds, is by author, speaker, and illustrator Mari Andrew. It reads, "I am washing my face before bed while a country is on fire. It feels dumb to wash my face and dumb not to. It has never been this way, and it has always been this way. Someone has clinked a cocktail glass in one hemisphere as one loses a home in another, while someone falls in love in the same apartment building where someone grieves. The fact that suffering, mundanity, and beauty coincide is unbearable and remarkable. Let us think of this dichotomy and experience of humanity while we hold one another in our arms. Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazak. We join with Jews around the world celebrating Shabbat tonight as Joan Plotnick comes up and lights our Shabbat candles on page 3.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Amen. You may notice the sanctuary looks a little different tonight, different than it has in almost 2 years, that there are no ropes in the sanctuary. So if you don't have a prayer book in front of you because maybe you're sitting in a row that no one sat in for 2 years, feel free to grab a book from somewhere else, or there are extras right by the front door if you need them. We continue with Kiddush on page 5 together.
Please join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron le'maseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila le'mikra'e kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, ki vaynu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
time. We continue on page 12, singing Lechu Neranana from Psalm 95.
Let us sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God a new song. La 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 la, ya la 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 la. Please join me on page 22 for Tov Lehodot. It is the third line from the top as we give thanks to God. Tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Le'agid b'boker chastecha,
Turn back one page, 2 pages technically, to page 20. Can you all hear me? Is that okay? Okay, good, perfect. As we join together in Lechadodi, we will sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach that 9th verse, Bo'i v'shalom, we will rise, turning to face the entrance of our sanctuary, beckoning that Sabbath spirit towards us. And if you are joining us on live stream, you can still rise if you'd like, still beckon that Sabbath spirit towards you, just as we do here.
Lechadodi likrakala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekavela. Lechadodi likrakala לכתחילה. לך דודי לי ככלה, יללי, 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 בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לי ככלה, יללי, 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 בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בורא קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שדברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לי ככלה, יללי, 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 בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לי ככלה, יללי, 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 בני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לי ככלה, יללי, 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 בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לי ככלה, יללי, 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 בני שבת נקבלה.
Turn to those around you, wish them a Shabbat Shalom. Let them know you're glad they're here. So many hellos when it feels like those barriers are down. Page 26, we continue with Chatzi Kaddish as we remain standing through Shema.
יתקרב יתקרא שמי רבה, אמן. ועמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייך וביום אחד, ובחייך בית ישראל. בגלה, בגלה, ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה
Ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma potach sha'arim, uvitvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakira kirtsono. Ore yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uven layla. Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid imloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Page 33 at the top, we join together. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. You may be seated. Please join me with the Haftarah on page 36. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'otecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levonecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha v'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
On the bottom of page 39, we read responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Come kifad Adonai Yaakov, u'gala miyad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai, yadadai, 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 Kal Yisrael. Amen.
Page 43 at the top, we join together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, Bel kol amo Yisrael, Be'al Yerushalayim.
V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש.
We rise for the Amidah on page 46.
Adonai sfatai tiftach. Adonai sfatai tiftach. Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai sfatai tiftach. Adonai sfatai tiftach. Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elokei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshiach u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh kol atarav lehoshia, Mashiv haruach morid hagashem, Mechakel chaim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'rofeh cholim, U'matir asurim, U'mekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha bal gevurot, U'mido melech, Melech meimit u'mechayeh, U'motzmiach Yeshua, B'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. Page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 58, we join together for Hoda'ah as we thank God. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God, and the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one whose mercies never end, O compassionate one whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. We join together on page 61 in our prayer for peace. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, eternal one, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamivarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. We take a moment now for our own silent prayers.
Osa shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom shalom b'imromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. V'yimeru amen, v'yimeru amen. We ask for peace on earth, and we say amen. V'yimeru amen, v'yimeru amen. We raise our voice as one, and we say amen.
Seder Kriyat Torah, our service for the reading of Torah, page 245. Assemble the people, men, women, and children, and the strangers in your cities, to hear, to learn, to revere Adonai your God, to observe faithfully the words of this Torah, and let their children who do not yet know it hear, that they too may learn to revere Adonai your God. We rise in honor of our Torah.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai, ve'en kema'asecha. Malchutcha malchut kol olamim, bo'nei meshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai oz le'amo yitin. Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom.
The bottom of page 247, we read responsibly. In this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now.
Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael, Adonai תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים. כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים. כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים. כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים. ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו, תורה לעמו ישראל. ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו. כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים. כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים. כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים. כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים.
You may be seated. Our guest, Darshanit, tonight, our guest of our Torah giver, Darshanit is a better word, it sounds better, is Dorothy Martin. I invite her forward to deliver tonight's words of Torah.
Shabbat Shalom. Each year, I eagerly await the arrival of the Jewish Communities of the World calendar that is published by the World Jewish Congress American section. Beautiful photographs of Jewish synagogues throughout the world are featured on the calendar, one for each month. The architectural design of each synagogue is as unique as the country of its location. Some, like the Tiferet Synagogue in Israel, of Jewish quarters, are preserved ruins. Others range from modest to exquisite with rich decorations and furnishings. The preservation of a culture and its heritage is very vital to its survival. And photographer Jono David has done an excellent job and deserves commendation for helping to record and preserve Jewish culture. In his calendar message, World Jewish Calendar Congress President Ronald S. Lauder addresses supporters by thanking them for their generosity and by making a commitment on behalf of the WJC to demonstrate true and clear moral leadership. One of the ways leaders of the WJC do this is by disclosing details about donations received and about their financial health. In this week's Parashah Pekudei, Moses, the primary architect of the Mishkan, demonstrates accountability by behaving ethically, responsibly, and wisely regarding the accounting of donations and work. Why was such meticulous accounting and repetition of details so important? Biblical interpreter Don Isaac Abravanel, a medieval commentator and financier, whose writing style, ironically, is said to have been prolix and often repetitious, claims to have found 5 listings of Mishkan construction details in the Torah. He considers these repetitions a puzzling recapitulation, which could signify the existence of some mysticism. His line of thinking may be in line with the Zohar, a mystical 13th century text which saw the tabernacle as a reflection of the process of the creation of the universe. If we accept Ramban's explanation, we view the repetition not as puzzling or mystical, but as a reflection of the love with which the sanctuary was viewed by God, a reiteration which underscored the sanctuary's importance to the hearts of the Israelites. The link between sacred space and love may not seem so obvious. However, I believe that understanding, at least to some degree, the physical and organizational structure of our synagogues, their design, their history, their funding, and the artifacts contained in them deepens our love for God and for one another and for these sacred spaces. The Midrash Tanhuma taught that God considers studying the sanctuary structure as equivalent to rebuilding it. For a final explanation on the matter of accounting and documenting and reporting of the Mishkan, I turn to early rabbinic commentators who believed that the details and list served the important function of accountability, which they deemed a moral responsibility, one which makes public officials beyond reproach. They offer the following detailed interpretation. Rabbis taught in Mishnah Shekalim 5:2, one must not appoint fewer than 2 people to control the finances of a city or community. And the Midrash asked whether Moses was not solely in charge. The answer that although Moses was the sole treasurer, he called others to audit the account. The Midrash noted that in Exodus 38:21, it states, "These are the accounts of the tabernacle," and it does not say which Moses rendered, but which were rendered according to the command of Moses. Thus, these accounts were rendered through Moses, but by the hands of Ithamar, implying that Moses showed all the accounts to Ithamar. They insist that the long, detailed accounts and lists were the actual public examination of Moses' records. Reading Exodus 38:21, as they were rendered according to the commandments of Moses, a Midrash taught that the Israelites did everything that they did by the command of Moses, through the service of the Levites, by the hand of Ithamar, the son of Aaron, the priest. The Midrash also taught that everything that Moses made was made through others. Even though everything was done with witnesses, as soon as the construction of the tabernacle was completed, Moses wasted no time to promise the people the complete details of all the expenditures involved. He began to expound, "These are the accounts of the tabernacle," saying how much he had expended on the tabernacle. While engaged in this calculation, Moses completely forgot about 1,775 shekalim of silver that he had used for hooks for the pillars. He became very uneasy, thinking to himself that the Israelites would find grounds to say that Moses took those for himself. So God opened the eyes of Moses to realize that the silver had been converted into the hooks for the pillars. When the Israelites saw that the account was now completely tallied, they were completely satisfied with the integrity of the work on the tabernacle. And thus, Exodus 38:21 says, "These are the accounts of the tabernacle," to report that the accounts balanced. The Midrash asked why Moses had to account to the Israelites, seeing as God trusted Moses so implicitly, that God said in Numbers 12:7, "My servant Moses is trusted in all my house." The Midrash explained that Moses overheard certain Israelites scoffing behind his back. For Exodus 33:8 says, "And they, the Israelites, looked after Moses," meaning that they became suspicious of him. The Midrash asked what the people would say about Moses. Rabbi Hama said that they used to remark how fat and prosperous Moses looked. When Moses heard this, he vowed to give an account of everything, and this is why Exodus 38:21 says, "These are the accounts of the tabernacle." To put it simply, and what I think is that the rabbi stressed that leaders and public officials must adhere to fair and ethical standards. For example, the standard of materiality and the principal standard of utmost good faith, which we find in generally accepted accounting principles. They also say that leaders must place themselves above suspicion, stand prepared to answer false rumors and gossip, and prove their honesty and integrity. As I said in the beginning of my devar, the WJC relies heavily on donations to help it reach its mission. Ensuring the continuity and development of the religious, spiritual, cultural, and social heritage of the Jewish people is part of that mission. On their ethical standards page, they're promised to be open and honest with volunteers and donors, to exercise best governance and accounting practices, and to promote financial transparency is clearly stated. And on their website, you can find their IRS 990 form and full disclosure of their financial statements. Pictured on every page of that beautiful Jewish calendar is an image of their charity navigator, which evaluates their efficiency and proficiency in dealing with their donors, and they have a star rating. In this day and age, disclosure of such information is of utmost importance. It was equally important to Moses when the Mishkan was constructed. Rabbi Joseph R. Radinsky speaks of the virtues of honesty, integrity, compassion, and love as the temples of time, which builders, engineers, physicists, chemists, mathematicians, etc., must have if those structures they build are to succeed. Likewise, accountability, integrity, and transparency are necessary if we, as individuals, leaders, and organizations, are to earn trust, maintain healthy relationships, and enjoy the blessings of freedom and the rest that Shabbat offers, whether celebrated in our synagogues, in our homes, or on Zoom. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will.
So I am going to read the beginning of Parshat Pekudei, which Dorothy focused on, from Exodus chapter 38, verses 21 through 24. I would like to invite Olga and Al Kaufman to please come up and do the Torah blessings for us. We're on page 250 for the blessings.
Baruch atah. Baruch et Adonai HaMabarak. Baruch atah HaMabarak. Elad. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bahar banu mikol ha'amin. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai Noteinu Torah.
Amen. Elef Pekudei Hamishkan Mishkan Haidut Asher Pukad Al Pi Moshe Avodat Havim Beyad Itamar Ben Aharon HaKohen Uvitzalel Ben Uri Ben Hur Limate Yehuda Asa et Kol Asher Tziva Adonai et Moshe Vito Oholiav Ben Achisamach Limate Dan Charash V'Choshev v'rokeim, b'techelet uva'argaman, uv'tol la'at hashani uv'ashesh. Kol hazahav hasui lamelacha bechol melechet hakodesh vayehi zahav hatnufa tesha ve'esrim kikar ushva meot ushloshim shekel b'shekel hakodesh. These are the records of the tabernacle of the pact, which were drawn up at Moses' bidding, the work of the Levites under the direction of Itamar, son of Aaron the priest. Now Bezalel, son of Uri, son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, had made all that the Eternal had commanded Moses. At his side was Oholiab, son of Achisamach, of the tribe of Dan, carver and designer, and embroiderer in blue, purple, and crimson yarns, and in fine linen. All the gold that was used for the work in all the work of the sanctuary, the elevation offering of gold, came to 29 talents and 730 shekels by the sanctuary weight.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'hayei olam nata v'torheinu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
And as we finish a book of the Torah, we are ending Exodus, and next week we'll start the beginning at the beginning of Vayikra, of Leviticus. We say, Chazak, Chazak, v'nichazek, which means may we go from strength to strength and be strengthened together. Not really.
And with these words of strength that we get from Torah and we get from the words, and while we read from the beginning of the portion, I'm going to just go a little bit down so that when I lift it, you can see the break between Exodus and Leviticus. But with these words of strength, we think of all of those who face the future not fully whole, those who are in need of healing of mind, of body, and of spirit. We think of them whispering their names out loud, and you can see the names on your screen or in your order of service. We join together in the words of Mishaberach, which can be found on page 253. We rise in honor of our Torah, page 252.
Torah, Moshe, page 256.
We continue with Aleinu, page 283.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וגור עלינו להמליך מלכותו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. Page 289 for our memorial meditation. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance, and our life burns down in gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen, yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. Our thoughts turn now to those in our community who have died at this time in years past. As we mark their yard sites, we remember them. Abe Alperin, Nelson T. Alter, Richard Appel, Ann Baskin, Caroline Strauss-Bodenheimer, Alan Brightman, Dr. Howard Britton, Helen E. Brisbane, Lee Ronald Cantil, Lewis Cooper, Joe Davis, Jacob Dureski, M. Leo Dubinsky, Abe Epstein, Solomon Feldman, Emma Fergotson, Charlotte Cushman Friedberg, Miriam Victor Friedman, Herman R. Friedson, Ethel Fuhr, Maria Reina Garza, Irving Gindi, Julian Glass, Marilyn Goldberg, Sam Goldman, Harry I. Goodman, William Horowitz, Dr. John Huff, Harold Hughes, Lorenzo Iacano, Pat Jackson, Margot Kempler, Jerome Kerman, Morris Klein, Major General Retired Stanley Kolodny, Alphonse Krawitz, Dorothy Rosenthal Latin, Naomi Lieberman Lauderstein, Gladys Lazarus, Eva Levinson, Jim Levy, Barbara Markey, Michael Markey, Dorothy Marks, George Miller, Terry Miller, Bertha Feldman Moss, Lloyd T. Munter, Etta Nathan, Esther Nichols, Lena Patiala, Molly Perchikoff, Fanny Pollock, Leah Hinda Pullen, Tobias Rakobi, Michael Reagan, Joan Reichert, Richard Rice, Tilly Ricklin, Will Rips, Gerald Rabinowitz, Edward H. Robinson, Diana Rodriguez, Goldie S. Rosenbaum, Belle Rosenberg, Rose Rubin, Shirley Evans Shafir, Sylvia Schulman, Ellen Schwartz, Norman Seaman, Joseph Shanfield, Paul Simon, Faye Sinkin, Donald Smallwood, Leo Sussman, Urmila Tammy, Bernard Truhaft, David B. Vinson III, Mamie Ray Washer, Jerome Wank, Florence Wolf, Frederica Wolf, and Ralph Zork. We also think of those who have died in the past 30 days, whose families are in a mourning period of Shloshim. We remember Ruth Levinson Lerner, Herman Buddy Meyer Jr., Mona Feder Rubenstein, Carol Hendon, Jeannie Shechet, and Diana Pearl Cole. We also think of those who have been buried in the past 7 days, whose families are in a mourning period of Shiva. We remember Bob Marbut, father of Marcy Marbut, ex-husband of Margot Marbut. Funeral services are going to be held in Georgia. Henry L. Hank Bronstein, brother of Don and Jim Selby, Julie and Marlon Miller, uncle of many nieces, nephews, and cousins. And Marilyn Friedman, sister of Linda and Stanley Blend, Mark and Darcy Friedman, and Steve and Jackie Friedman, sister-in-law of Lucy Friedman, partner of Steve Koulas, and his mother, Bonnie. Children, Tara and Justin, granddaughters, Stella and Gracie Joe, and many other family members. With all of these names, we add those which are in our hearts each and every day as we turn to page 294 for Kaddish Yatom and rise together as one community. Yitzgadal v'yitzkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon u'v'yomechon u'chayed chol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'v'yizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ulmei almaya, yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasha b'richu, Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, u'ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, amen. You may be seated. It is my honor to call forward, or back, Corey Palmer to give tonight's announcements on behalf of the Board of Trustees.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you tonight to Joan Plotnick for lighting our candles and to Dorothy Martin for delivering our Devar Torah. As a reminder, there will be no religious school or Hebrew class held March 6th through March 19th during spring break. Also, don't forget that Monday, March 7th is the deadline for ordering your homemade hamantashen. They'll be available for pickup on Sunday, March 20th at the Purim Carnival. Here are some upcoming events at the Temple. TBE 50s Plus will be baking hamantashen here on Wednesday, March 9th from 6 to 9 p.m. There will be pizza from Main Street Pizza and Wine. Shabbat worship next week at Temple on Friday, March 11th at 6:30. Come for a Purimified service and join the fun. Dress in costume and participate in this special worship service, which will also feature a Purim spiel. Temple adults are invited to Esther's Banquet on Wednesday, March 16th from 7 to 8:30. Join Rabbi Nathan for a reading of the Megillah and some refreshments while preparing Mishloach Manot. Small gifts to share with others. Oh, wow. Well, hopefully I was loud enough before.
It's all in the Thursday email, so it worked.
Yes, it's in your Thursday email. Everyone is invited to attend the Purim Carnival on Sunday, March 20th from 12 to 2 for games, arts and crafts, performances, and hamantaschen, as well as a raffle and prizes. After a 2-year hiatus, we are back in person at the biggest Purim Carnival yet. Information about how to register or attend these and many other opportunities can be found on our website, in the weekly email, and in the Shabbat order of service. Shabbat Shalom.
I also want to thank those who helped out during the Torah service, who didn't know they were going to be helping out during the Torah service. So thank you for being flexible with us. And we hope that you will join us for all of the Purim celebrations that we will be having. Our closing song is Hallelujah on page 339, and we rise to sing together. Shabbat Shalom.